So we've looked at the four main elements that make up the internet. And I want to introduce you now to the fifth element, like the film. There is a DNA. The internet has its own DNA, and that is the language that allows everything to link together in the way that it does. And that is a system called TCP/IP. It is the backbone, it is the software, it is Linux in most parts. And it is the language that binds and communicates between all of those servers, between all these computers, the cables, and what comes to you. But there's something else on top of that, because you can't actually see that unless you're really down into the earth, as you might say. And that is on top of all that, there is what Tim Berners-Lee invented. And that is this text language that sits on top of HTTP that shows you what you want to see. It is this, it is everything. And it is what is the communication of that's important. Will that change? At the moment, it's 2D and it's desperately trying to be 3D. And there's another element that I'm going to discuss later on. But the two things I wanted to talk to you about today to get you into this whole thing was the backbone software DNA that sits there, and that's TCP/IP. Been around since day one and is evolving. And we know it's sound. Okay, so every now and again it gets a little bit of a hiccup and it falls down, but they fix it quite well. And those occurrences are getting rarer and rarer. But the next stage on is what sits on top of that in terms of HTTP. And there we'll probably see some changes. Tim Berners-Lee is still quite active in the development of this. And if you go onto the internet and search for how it's all going to change, then you'll see a load of different sites, all trying to show you what they think and how they think it will be working. And I don't care. Go and watch them. Go and subscribe to their newsletters. Eventually, it will change. I can't see the underlying DNA changing that much. It works well. The overall system communicates well. It stands up. And we can see that in the last few months since the turn of Christmas into the new year, when this coronavirus came on board. And we saw a massive shift away from big city centres where the software and the cables were in place to take the load. And it's been shifted over to homes where people like me are trying to lecture and run videos and create videos online from home. And so we can see that this backbone is working well. It stood up to the test of time and it stood up to changes, which is what it was always designed to do. So when you started to look at all this, don't ignore the fifth element. Report on it, watch it, because I can quite easily see that in the future, this might be an important area.